The first thing you learned on this path was a lie rooted in hate. That's exactly what happened to me. And it forced me to tear everything down and build something better. When I first called myself Heathen, I wanted something solid to hold on to. A set of values that could guide me. Like most new heathens, I hit Google and I found the 9 noble virtues. There they were, shining like some ancient treasure. 9 words that promised to define what it meant to live with honor. For years, I wore those words like armor. I followed them, taught them, and believed they were as old as the sagas themselves. But the truth? Well, the day I discovered their origin, that armor shattered. And I realized I've been following a lie. So I came up with something better. Because this is how to heathen. When I first stepped onto this path, I was hungry for structure like most of the heathens. I wanted something solid to hold on to. A list of values, a code that told me how to live with honor. That quick Google search brought me to 9 noble virtues. There they were, shining like a beacon on every heathen forum, plastered all over books, websites, merchandise.
Merchandising.
The words courage, truth, honor, fidelity, discipline. It felt like I just found the heathen version of the 10 Commandments. And for years, I followed them. I lived by those 9 words for years, never questioning them. Why would I? They were everywhere. They looked ancient. They felt official. When people asked me about living like a heathen, I pointed to those same virtues. I thought I had the map. But here's the thing about shiny objects. They don't always lead you home. Sometimes they just bait. And one day I started to wonder, where did these virtues even come from? That single question was the start of tearing that whole thing down. The day I found out the truth about the 9 noble virtues, felt like someone pulled the rug out from underneath me and then beat me with the rug for good measure. I was sticking around doing what I do best, research. And then I started running my mouth and asking questions nobody else seemed to be asking. That's when I learned something that flawed me. The 9 noble virtues aren't ancient. They're not from the sagas, not from the Eddas, not whispered to us by our ancestors under the northern lights. No, the motherfuckers were made up in the 1970s by a group of people with, let's just say, less than honorable intentions. The more I read, the worse it got. These so-called virtues were heavily influenced by Victorian morality and, get this, Christian ethics. Yeah, nothing screams heathen like a copy-paste job from the same system that I'm walking away from. And to make it worse, some of the folks pushing them forward were tangled up with those WS or hate groups. And that's when I realized I'd spent years following a set of values that didn't just feel fake, they were dripping with someone else's hate. It was like being handed a beautiful cup of meat and finding out that it was filled with cheap Wawa coffee. The day I realized the 9 noble virtues were nothing but a 1970s fan fiction project with racist undertones, I was pissed. For years of my life, years of thinking I had found the heathen 10 Commandments, I told everyone who would listen, this is how you live like a heathen. These 9 right here. And I was wrong. And let me tell you, I don't like being wrong. My pride was ready to pack its bags and move to Iceland out of pure shame. But instead of sitting there feeling stupid, I did what I do best. I opened up my loud fucking mouth and let the world know. I told anyone who would listen. And probably some who wish they had it. The 9 noble virtues were not our roots. And honestly, tearing it down felt good. It was like throwing out that one t-shirt you've had for a few years that still smells pretty bad. I needed something real, something that wasn't tainted. That's when I knew I had to build something better. Something that was my own. You know, I'm right outside of Philly when it's a ghetto bird. Before I go any further in this video, let me tell you about 2 things I'm building for this community. First, I haven't grabbed my bulk them out and harbor them all. Now's the time. I took Odin's words and I reimagined them for a modern world. Raw, honest, stripped of anything that doesn't serve real growth. It's not just poetry, it's a mindset you can carry every single day. Second, we're building something I've wanted for years, a true online kindred Discord server. This won't be some toxic chat room or a place for wannabe experts to flex. To be all whole, a community built on respect, curiosity, and learning together. I'm still working on it. But if you want to be a part of the ground floor, email me at howdyheathen@gmail.com. And I'll make sure you get an invite when the doors open. The Varðar aren't just pretty Norse words I slapped into a self-help list. They're living beacons, markers I built with my own blood, pain, and victories. Each one is tied to a part of the soul because I believe that if you improve just one piece of yourself each day, your entire life and your community will rise with you. These are the Five Varðar: Hamr, Hugr, Hamingja, Fylgja, and Félag. Hamr, your body, your vessel. The Hamr is your body, the shaper of your soul in the physical world. It's not about looking like a Viking warrior from a video game. It's about honoring the vessel that carries you. When I talk about Hamr, people throw excuses at me. I can't exercise because I'm injured, or I'm too broken. Trust me, I know broken. After my accident, I walked into rehab on crutches with sores under my arms and a spine held together by screws. I started small, stretching, yoga, moving 1 inch at a time. If you can only take 3 steps today, fight for 4 tomorrow. Hamr is progress, not perfection. Every small improvement is like stacking another stone on your path. It becomes easier to find the beacon in the storm. The Hugr, the voice in your head. Hugr is your mind, the voice that can either drive you forward or bury you alive. For me, Hugr became my lifetime during the darkest days. During lockdown, after losing my mother and quite a few childhood friends, I was drowning in a relapse. I played a game of chance with an empty bottle, deciding between the pew-pew and the pipe of poison. The bottle landed on the drugs, which is probably a good thing, because either one of them got hit was getting forced into my mouth and lit. Next morning when I sobered up, I realized I could let my Hugr destroy me, or I could sharpen it into my greatest weapon. I've always chose to feed my brain knowledge, but now I needed discipline and truth. And that's how the Hugr became my second Varðar. Hamingja, the luck you build. The Hamingja is often called luck, but it's not the lottery ticket kind. It's the luck you forge with hard work, honor, and the way you treat others. I like to think of it as a reputation that follows you and your ancestors. We always call it a generational karma. Every good decision, every act of courage or kindness adds weight to your Hamingja. And every time you choose the easy, cowardly path, it chips away at it. It's about building a legacy you and your kin can be proud of. Even if your kin is just you and your dog right now. Fylgja, your spiritual compass. The Fylgja is your connection to the divine, the God, the ancestors, the land winds, and the energies that surround you. This Varðar isn't about bowing down or begging for favors. It's about showing gratitude, listening, walking with awareness. For me, strengthening my Fylgja means leaving offerings, meditating, and simply just being present in the moment. Sometimes it's just standing outside in the middle of the night, looking at the sky and saying, I see you. It's a reminder that we're never walking this path alone, and we don't need an intermediary to speak with the divine. Félag, your community. Finally, last but not least, there's Félag, the Varðar of community and kinship. You can stack stones all day for yourself, but if you're not improving the world around you, you're missing the point. When I started building the How to Heathen community, I realized this wasn't just about me. It's about us, lifting each other, sharing knowledge, and creating a hall where no one walks alone. That's why Félag is the last Varðar. Because if you grow strong, but your people stay weak, your path means nothing. These Five Varðar aren't rules, they're markers. Every day I pick one and ask, how can I improve here? Some days it's lifting an extra 5 pounds. Some days it's reading a single page. Some days it's just sending a message to someone who needs to hear they're not alone. One stone at a time, these Varðar build the path that I walk. The 9 noble virtues want to be commandments. They want to tell you what to do, how to act, and how to measure your work. But the truth, heathens don't need commandments. We don't need a rule book borrowed from Victorian morality or a Christian checklist with a Viking sticker slapped on top. Our ancestors didn't live by someone else's dogma. They lived by their choices, their oaths, and their honor. That's why the Varðar are different. They aren't rules, they're beacons. They don't tell you who to be. They help you figure out who you want to become. Varðar, a personal living marker. One day, your Hugr might need sharpening. Another day, it's your Hamir that needs strengthening. The Varðar let you walk your own path, stacking stones where you need them most. And the best part, they're not born from hate or some agenda. They're born from real life, from the sweat, from rehab mat, from the whispers I've heard in meditation, from the nights I almost gave up but chose to fight back. They're mine, but they can be yours too, because at the end of the day, honor isn't handed down from a list of virtues. It's built stone by stone with every action you take. The 9 noble virtues were my first mat, and they led me straight into a wall. Borrowed morality wrapped in hate and sold as ancient. I don't just walk away from that every place. The Varðar, they're living beacons. Your Hamr, Hugr, Hamingja, Fylgja, and Félag. Not rules, not dogma. Markers you stack. One rep, one page, one honorable act, one moment of gratitude, one act of service. Until a real path starts to rise under your feet. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pick one Varðar and drop a stone on it today. Then tell me in the comments which one you're working on first. Your Hamr, your Hugr, Hamingja, Fylgja, or Félag. And what tiny action you take. And if this hits you, like the video so it reaches more people walking on the path. Subscribe and hit the bell, because we're just getting started building this from the ground up. Share it with someone still clinging on to the 9 noble virtues. And if you want in on the kindred we're building, email Heathen with the number 2 at gmail.com to get on the early list. Grab the modern harbor mall if you haven't. It will sharpen your Hugr, and it helps to fuel this work. Stack a stone today, stack another tomorrow. That's how we build a life and a community worth honoring. And until next time, stay fucking savage.